Welcome back to my channel. My name is Ajwa and I'm glad you made time to join me. If you are new here, please consider subscribing. To all my returning subscribers, thank you and welcome back. So by the title of this video, you know we're going to discuss, or I'm going to give my opinion about, what has been termed as sexy fragrances and what I think about it. Personally, I do like those videos. I like them. I think I have a couple of videos of my own, in that direction, talking about sexy fragrances. But I always see these sexy, get a man, secure the bag. This one will get you, high value man. This one will get you this, wear this, attract him. He's going to marry you tomorrow. Fragrances. Sometimes I just think it's, like a loose term just for people to enjoy the videos. There's nothing too serious about it. And other time people also make it seem like it's like the holy grail. If you don't get it, you're not going to attract a man, you'll be single forever and all those kind of things. So this is my simple opinion on this whole sexy fragrances. I enjoy these, there are some recommendations people have said. I have tried them and they are actually very good. Most of them are very good and I think people enjoy it. That's why they keep buying these sexy fragrances. Personally, I'm sort of a sensual person. And to me, there are subtle differences between sexy and sensual. I try sometimes to use the term sexy loosely because it can come off as a bit degrading depending on who is using it and at what occasion. And it can also be a compliment depending on who is using it and at what occasion. I think I'm more of a sensual person, and hear me out. These are some of the reasons why I prefer being sensual over being sexy, like 8 out of 10 times. Those 2 times I don't mind being considered sexy or being called sexy, but 8 out of 10 times I think being sensual does it for me. So the term sexy is predominantly associated with sex, whilst being sensual is an act of seduction which does not necessarily lead to sex. Being sexy is like, to me, I guess feel like it's like a call to mate, sort of I'm here, look at me, pick me, I'm all up in your face. I could be wrong, but the term sexy sometimes can come across, or people connote the term sexy in that kind of direction. But being sensual is like a form of being getting in touch with your femininity, being gentle with yourself, not doing too much, being yourself as much as possible. Being sensual is a way of preserving, it's a self-preservation way of living, preserving yourself in a way that people see you and give you some respect. Sexiness can be a little harsh, because like sometimes you try to be sexy, you go overboard, you do a lot of makeup, a lot of hair, a lot of accessories, a lot of everything, and you end up going in a different direction, and then the whole purpose of being sexy is defeated. But being sensual is when you are in touch with yourself. You do everything in moderation. Men or people want to be seen with you on the outside, not necessarily only in the inside or in the bedroom. They actually want to be seen with you outside because you exude some level of respect, you exude some level of confidence, you exude some level of maturity, you have your life together, that kind of thing. People always say, oh, perfumes are sexy, whatever. I get it. I have some of them, I enjoy them, but there is a time and a place for all those fragrances. Most of the time you find me wearing those ones, but when I'm in an intimate setting, and intimate setting doesn't necessarily mean only being with a partner or being with a spouse. It could be with a group of friends, that each other so well that you can, be vulnerable around them. When I'm with such people, I don't want to do too much. Sometimes you don't even have any makeup on, just your natural self. Just put on just few sprays of some feminine fragrances, and that's it. And those intimate occasions do not require any sexy I'm here, look at me, pick me fragrances. It requires, or depending on who you are, I would rather do sensual form of sensual fragrances than sexy fragrances for such occasions. if I'm going on a first date, I'm not doing any sexy fragrance. That is my personal preference. I'm not doing sexy fragrance on a first or second date because I want to be as alluring and mysterious as possible. I don't want to give everything, out like, okay, this is me. I'm out there. I'm up all in your face. You can have me. I get, it has to be gentle. You do everything in moderation. The fragrance is subtle. Sometimes you just smell good. He might assume you just took a good bath and you don't even have any perfume on because there's some bubble around you that smells so good, and he might assume that you're just well groomed, you took your bath, you take care of yourself, like a sort of lady. But you might actually be having some fragrance on and you purposely did that not to be excessive on that kind of date, or come across as being excessive and aggressive, by how you are looking and the perfume you are wearing and all those things. So I think there's a time and place for all these. Being subtle is one of the sexiest things that I even find on women. To me, the most sensual women are the ones that you see them most of the time. They are covered. I don't see anything wrong with being exposed or wearing, that kind of thing. I don't. But being covered most of the time, or being decently dressed for you have to know what occasion you're going for and dress appropriately. To me, those are the kind of women I find sensual. You see them at a table sipping, with some few friends, not chatting loudly, not drinking excessively, not laughing for everybody to hear them, not trying to do things to get attention to themselves, but they are quiet, reserved. And there's always something about these women. There's always something about them. You might not be able to pinpoint and say, oh, maybe she has a nice face, she has a nice body, she has a nice whatever, but there's something about these women which are so sensual, and it's so attractive. Even for me as a woman, I see those people, I give them that kind of respect, and it's attractive. So I think those are the kind of things that a lot of men also sort of subconsciously, they sort of get attracted to people um, with that attitude, or that people of that nature. As I said, there is always a time and a place for being sexy. I don't mind being called sexy when I'm all dressed up, trying to, whenever you need to be sexy, please go ahead, be sexy. If it's for your man, for yourself, for your whoever it is. I mean, there are days you really want to just put yourself out there and be sexy. But for me, 8 out of 10 times, I prefer being sensual to being sexy. Because sexy can, it's a thin line. If you don't take care, it can just go south for you. Trying to be sexy and then putting on this tons of makeup, tons of everything, it can be a bit aggressive and come off as being unrefined. That is a term. It can come off as being unrefined, but being sensual and subtle is always the way to go, in my opinion. When it comes to fragrances, sometimes more is more, and at other times, less is obviously more. I personally find animalic and powdery and musky fragrances as very sensual, and that's the reason why I have a lot of these animalic fragrances. For the most part, the opening gives you this strong, pungent sort of scent, but the dry down, which stays with you for the most part, is quite powdery, musky, and very sensual. However, one that I would highly recommend if you're looking for a sensual fragrance is Armani Code for Hair. This is a fragrance that came out like more than a decade ago, and I believe I used this fragrance. I first had it back in 2007 when it came out, and at that time I didn't even know the difference, no much of difference of being sexy, being sexual. I was just using it because I had it. I was gifted that fragrance. But over the years, I've come to really appreciate Armani Code for Hair. It's a powdery citrus sort of fragrance, and there's something about it. It is not strong, it is not pungent, it doesn't even last that long. But Armani Code is one perfume I find so sensual. It does the work any given time. It is also an all-purpose sort of fragrance. You wear it during the daytime, for night out, for evening occasions. It fits every bill that you can imagine. It's one that I would highly recommend if you are looking for a sensual, intimate fragrance. One other fragrance I will also highly recommend is an oldie, and this is Hypnotic Poison, the EDT. I mean, people have said a lot of good things about it, about this fragrance, and I'm not here to change the narrative. If it's good, it's good. It is known to have this pheromones in it. I don't know how accurate that information is, but it is purported to have pheromones, which is supposed to work with your body, sort of attract a mate or attract men to you, whatever. But Hypnotic Poison, the EDT, is truly a sensual fragrance, and it's quite matured, quite warm. There's something about it, that men like. And if it has worked for all these years, why change it? Why change the winning formula? You can just grab one and try to see how it works for you. But to me, it's one of the most sensual fragrances I have ever used. One that I also recently like is Opulent Mask by Lattafa. People don't give Opulent Mask the accolades that it needs, but to me, from my personal experience, it is quite a sensual fragrance, excellent for bedtime. It doesn't do too much. It's not offensive. It is gentle, and that mask in it, that powdery citrus mask makes it so sensual to me. Those are the three fragrances that I would highly recommend if you're looking for something sensual. But if you're also that sexy person, hey, like, just do you, because I like to smell fragrances, all manner of fragrances. And honestly, I'm yet to smell a fragrance that I go like, I really, 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 really hate this. If I don't like it, I don't like it. But I might even try it one or two times just to be very sure that I don't like. So I like all manner of fragrances for the most part, except few ones that I mean, you can't win it all, but I have an appreciation for a lot of fragrances. So when it comes to these sexy fragrances, I appreciate them. I have a few of my own. There are some on my wish list I wish to get, which are some are quite expensive, and probably save towards it and all. So anything that works for you, please do. But if you ask me, for my opinion, or even you don't even ask me for my opinion, this is my personal opinion. I prefer sensual fragrances over sexy fragrances, like, for the most part. And in general, being sensual is more appealing to me. Being sensual is more appealing than always being sexy, always in people's face. Like, it can get old sometimes. Do you gear towards the sexy ones or the sensual ones? They are all good, and we all enjoy it from time to time. So that is my opinion, and I hope you either side with me or don't agree with me. Anyway, thank you so much. I hope you enjoy this, and I hope to see you in my next video. Take care, and bye bye.